Hello, and thank you for tuning in for a brief presentation on the Lancaster County Comprehensive Plan, Lancaster 2040. This presentation will cover some high-level information about the planning process, data collection, and initial progress. Lancaster 2040 will provide a vision for the future of the county and its growth over the next 10 to 20 years. The plan will guide future development and land uses throughout the county, including capital investments and community initiatives, which will help to realize the overall vision for the county. Of particular note is that a comprehensive plan is required by the state of South Carolina's planning enabling statutes. All counties and municipalities within the state must maintain a plan which is updated at least once every 10 years and includes information specified by the state of South Carolina. While the plan will include recommendations for the county as a whole, the plan will also provide specific guidance for the areas in the county which differ significantly in terms of their existing and future characteristics. The Panhandle, shown here in pink, is the most northern portion of the county, which includes the town of Van Wyck and everything north of the town. Greater Lancaster is the central portion of the county, shown in yellow. This includes the city of Lancaster and all of the unincorporated areas around it. Southern Lancaster is shown in blue and includes the towns of Heath Springs and Kershaw, as well as the entire southern portion of unincorporated Lancaster County. The Lancaster County Comprehensive Planning process began in November of 2021. Initial meetings with staff and the steering committee, a community survey, stakeholder listening sessions, and background research was conducted over the first portion of 2022. In September, we will begin exploring key topics, which include economic development, land use and growth management, environment and natural resources, and transportation. This will include 4 public meetings during the months of September and October. Information on these will be announced in the coming weeks. In November, we will begin preparing 3 area plans specific to the Panhandle, Greater Lancaster, and Southern Lancaster. And the full plan for Lancaster County will be prepared in the first months of 2023. The current timeline anticipates adoption of Lancaster 2040 in July of 2023. Lancaster County has grown significantly over the past 2 decades, with almost 35,000 new people added between 2000 and 2020. As of the 2020 census, the county's population is just under 100,000 people, and the current population estimate is closer to 100,500. Much of the county's growth is influenced by the growth of the Charlotte metropolitan region, and this is evidenced by a map of regional population change between 2000 and 2020. Here, all of the counties shown in shades of green have grown by a rate of at least 31% in the past 2 decades. You can see that this includes Mecklenburg, Union, York, and Lancaster counties. The population growth in Chesterfield and Kershaw counties were significantly lower, and Lancaster's neighbors to the west, Chester and Fairfield County, lost population during this time period. One thing to note here is that much of Lancaster County's growth is occurring in unincorporated areas, which is unlike our neighbors to the north, where you can see the municipalities have grown at faster rates than the counties overall. In Lancaster County, our municipalities have grown at much slower rates than the total county. As a point of emphasis, the town of Van Wyck is not showing up on this map because it was incorporated after 2000. The Panhandle is the fastest growing region in the county, and in fact, where much of the growth has taken place over the last 2 decades. Growing from just over 7,000 people in 2000, the Panhandle is now home to almost 41,000 residents and continues to grow in the number of homes, jobs, and commercial centers. Greater Lancaster has grown slightly in the last 20 years, adding just over 1,000 new residents since 2000. It is likely that this area will experience additional growth in the future as populations continue to move south. More than 42,000 people live in Greater Lancaster today. Southern Lancaster is the most rural portion of the county, and while its municipalities, Heath Springs and Kershaw, did experience growth between 2000 and 2020, the overall area remained relatively static. Almost 13,000 people live in Southern Lancaster today. The state of South Carolina's Department of Revenue and Fiscal Affairs creates population projections for all counties within the state. Their most recent projection anticipates the county growing to more than 160,000 people by 2035. As you can see, the state has projected the county to continue growing around the same rate as it has over the last decade, which is when it has experienced the most growth. This process will take a closer look at the state's projections. The United States Department of Agriculture uses satellite imagery to measure the amounts of land uses for agricultural production, development, forested land, and water in the United States. A simplified version of this data set is shown here, with forested areas shown in dark green, crop and pasture land shown in light green, water shown in blue, and developed land shown in black. You can see that much of the land is used as forest, cropland, or pasture land, and the development is largely concentrated in the Panhandle and the municipalities. Since the United States Department of Agriculture collects land cover data annually, we are able to monitor changes in development patterns over time. Here we can see how land has been developed in the county in the last decade. The areas shown in a pink color were developed in 2010. Those areas shown in dark blue, which you can see largely in the Panhandle and in smaller scattered areas throughout the county, are areas which are developed in the last 10 years. As part of the planning process, a community survey was conducted online during the months of March and April of 2022. Nearly 2,000 people participated in the survey, and some highlights from the survey results are shared here. When asked about issues which concern residents, the #1 response was growth and development. This was followed by a number of concerns related to growth and development, such as traffic congestion, schools, public infrastructure, and public safety. People are also concerned with community appearance. When asked about their perception of the recent pace of growth, most survey respondents who live in the Panhandle stated that the county is growing too quickly. About 15% of Panhandle respondents think the county is growing at the right pace, and very few think it's growing too slowly. In Greater and Southern Lancaster, perceptions of growth are more evenly distributed, with about 1/3 of respondents feeling it is growing too fast, 1/3 feeling it is growing at the right pace, and 1/3 feeling it is growing too slowly. Almost 3/4 of the survey respondents identified traffic congestion as a top transportation issue. About 40% of respondents also feel that pedestrian facilities, or lack thereof, is an issue, and about 30% are worried about transit access. Other concerns included worries about road conditions, traffic signalization, and access management, an emphasis on particular issues related to traffic congestion and transit access. One of the questions in the community survey asked people to describe their visions for the future of Lancaster County. This question was an open-ended one where people could write in their responses. All of the text entries were summarized to quantify the number of respondents interested in the same thing, and those similar responses which were received by at least 99 participants are shown here. The top visions included controlling growth, improving roads, adding parks and green spaces, improving schools, and encouraging more commercial businesses. As mentioned previously, the Lancaster 2040 Comprehensive Plan will guide development throughout the county while focusing on the specific planning areas of the Panhandle, Greater Lancaster, and Southern Lancaster. It will essentially be 4 plans in one, with the vision and guiding principles that are specific to the entire county and implementation strategies which are pertinent to the county as a whole, and then each of the planning areas individually. For instance, the guiding principle growth is relevant to the entire county. However, the way to implement growth will vary from one planning area to the next, and thus each planning area is likely to have separate implementation strategies which fall under this overall guiding principle. Thank you for watching this brief presentation on Lancaster 2040. Additional information, including all presentations shared with the Plan Steering Committee and detailed survey results, can be viewed on the project website, lancaster2040.com.